Yeah, you think you're so clever, don't you stupid sons of bitches? Yeah, I have Kirby in the Forgotten Land. Yeah, let's see how they like it when I go get my amazing Craigslist deal of an original arcade cabinet of Punch-Out! For $100. God damn it, drop my keys. Where the... God damn it. There we go. Now just put the key in here. Alright, safety first. Gonna put this on. Let's see who's behind me. Okay, nobody behind me. What about... What the hell? It's been a long time, eh, old friend? Alright, so let's get started with the review. Sonic and the Black Knight is just such a blast of the past for me. At the beginning, my introduction to Sonic was like when I was really little and I was so obsessed with Mario and I would find like the old school things on YouTube. I would watch so much Mario, sometimes animations, sometimes video games, sometimes Mario 64 that for some reason had an NES Castlevania intro and somebody would beat this game so quickly. I remember trying to find out how the backwards long jump worked. I remembered I would even quote, Yahoo! Yahoo! Waha! Over and over again, but like the few times I found Sonic, it was always in an animation where Mario and Sonic was fighting. And I would always think, oh, was Sonic a bad guy or something? And then my first game playing with Sonic, you know, I got a DS, I was at my mother's house. Yeah, let's not get into that. And I had Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games. Yes, this spin-off. This is what introduced me to Sonic in the game world. Don't judge. And I remembered switching into Sonic right before I was going to do the skating level, and I'm sitting there, I'm playing as a bad guy! I don't like playing as a bad guy! Mom! Bad guy! She lets me know that it's Sonic, and then she tries to take over my DS for a minute. Then later on, when I'm finding out how to play this skating level, I show my brother because I start gaining an interest into the blue blur. And then my brother, he was much more... Shoot it! He's a bad guy! Shoot him right now! Shoot the bad guy! My brother and I bonded a lot. We loved each other so much. We don't even get along now. After Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Winter Games, my dad found Sonic Unleashed at a movie stop of all places. I was sitting there, and I mean, technically I found it, but my father decided to buy it. Right, movie stuff was a thing. Also, it had like more of a DVD-esque case. It didn't even have like a typical PS3 case, which leaves me wondering, like, are these what the cases used to be like before the silver came in, or did we get this used? Why the fuck is it at a movie? My father and I went home, we played Sonic Unleashed for a bit, I absolutely loved it. I loved watching my dad rage every time he got mad at the game because he couldn't beat a certain boss with a werehog. And then my father, as revenge, had me play Sonic 06. To his surprise, I actually liked Sonic 06. I couldn't get through the fucking rings over the water, though, and my dad would not let me know how until I was 10 years old. You son of a... Then later on, I had birthdays come up. And by birthdays, I mean my birthday. And I also mean because my parents were split up, I had 2 birthdays. At my mother's, I got Sonic Rush on the DS. I don't have my original copy, and holy shit, I need to get me a new sticker. And then my father, as a surprise, got me a Nintendo Wii. And it was a bundle that had Sonic and the Black Knight, Wii Sports, Lego Batman, My Sims Kingdom, which you'd think I wouldn't play, but I played the shit out of it. Oh, and also my cousin gave me Sonic and the Secret Rings. Yeah, it's the thought that counts. And when I finally got a chance to play the Wii after a long and gruesome week with my mother, I remembered just wanting to play Sonic and the Black Knight so badly, but my dad had other plans. He wanted to play Wii Sports. So sadly, I can't say Sonic and the Black Knight was my first Wii game playing, but it was the first Wii game I wanted to play, and after Wii Sports, immediately, I got into Sonic and the Black Knight. Of course, my father played it first, and I had to just watch as I sat there and tried to learn it, and I remember trying to teach my dad how to play it. He got to the dragon in the Misty Lake, he gave up, he let me play it, and I just always enjoyed it from when I was young to right now, and look, before we start getting into the in-depth review, I just want you to know I'm not just going to be reviewing this based on nostalgia and saying this is a good game because of nostalgia. Now, I will say I do definitely like the game, even with the small problems that it does have. I mean, a lot of people play it out to be some game-breaking, flimsy shit. But, I mean, no, it's not game-breaking stuff. Like, it has its flaws. Every game is flawed. Even my favorite game franchise, Shantae, is flawed in certain ways. Whether a game starts getting too hard, maybe it gets slightly too easy, even though I like the easier turn, because then I'm not dying constantly. But I mean, you know, every franchise, every game has its flaws. Whether it be little, whether it be big, no game is perfect. I also want to say, when I was deciding on what review to do next, whether it be like Seven Sirens, whether it be Sonic and the Black Knight, whether it be the other game that was part of the poll, which I really don't remember, or Trey playing Bubsy 3D. And I mean, a part of me wants to say I'm really happy because I get to review this game, but another part of me thinks that people just voted for that simply because I've raged at 2 other games that the internet really hates, which, I mean, again, I don't know whether to be happy or upset about that, because, I mean, I appreciate that they liked Sonic 06 and Shadow reviews so much that they wanted me to bitch about another game, but at the same time, I don't even know if that was the motive or not. I will always be confused about that. Now, of course, it tied with Seven Sirens, and I'm really happy about that, because I get to review that with the amazing ChaudTheGamer! And I cannot thank you guys enough for not only voting on it, even though there were, like, very little votes. I mean, I'd say there was 20 at best, and there's, like, 100-something people who watch these videos. Well, there was one that got a few. So anyway, into the game. The gameplay introduces something new. I mean, after Sonic and the Secret Ring's awful tilt controls, Sega still wanted to put in, like, this thing with the motion controls, and they did it in a much better fashion. They let you use the nunchuck, and for Sonic, they let you use a sword. Now, normally, that would scare the crap out of you, because Shadow had guns, and you pretty much know exactly how I felt about that. But I feel like Sonic in a medieval setting, and even having a sword, for some reason, it just fits well, whether he has a glove on, doesn't have a glove on. You barely even notice this glove that he has on in the first place. And the simple concept, not only adding new, but, like, doing something, like, completely different, you know that's a big risk. Because, I mean, they took a lot of risks at times. There was the Werehog, there was the motion controls and Secret Rings, which that one bombed. There were other things that they've done in the past, like Sonic Fighters, which, you know, it was weird, but it still worked. Sonic R, which was completely fucking broken after you got Super Sonic. But I think in this case, it just works really freaking well. I mean, it's better than adding a fucking run button. Like, what the f— And when it comes down to the normal gist of just how the controls work, I can't just say, oh, well, it's better than Secret Rings, that's all I can say about it. I feel like the joystick alone just makes it really good. You can actually control whether Sonic goes forward or backwards in a better fashion. And, I mean, going left and right, at times it does feel flimsy, but it's nothing game-breaking. I mean, the only time I really had a big problem with it was when I hit some spikes in the Great Plains. Things from Sonic and the Secret Rings did make a return, like Sonic kind of being on this railish thing, which, you know, like I said, it works better because we have a joystick this time. And there's also the soul meter. Though it works differently, we're not having time break and speed break, even though you could kind of argue that it is kind of that, because you slow down when you're hitting the enemies, and then you go crazy fast when you're moving. Okay, it's time break and speed break, but it works a lot better. Press a B button, and then you swing the Wii Remote. That's all there is to it, and I feel like that's all it needs. It's not some obnoxious— I will say, I don't really like these shield enemies whenever I'm trying to do a homing attack, because this time, out of all times, it gave me a lot of shit. They kept pushing me over edges over and over and over again, to the point where I had to try, like, something, and I I really, really got tired of it, but I will say the Soul Surge a lot of times did help me out with that. So that is a welcome addition for me because I get to get rid of these assholes. They're not charging Chuck bullshit from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but, you know, assholes that I like to get rid of in the game. There are also some mechanics that are kind of hidden there, like a combo move when you do, like, the jump slash. I remembered some people, like my favorite reviewer, Some Call Me Johnny. I'm not calling him out, so please, like, don't go harassing him if you really like the game. Because, I mean, he made a lot of good points himself. But I remembered him making a point that doing the combo move was, like, too hard to do because the controller was kind of unresponsive. But for me, it's more so about the timing. If you get the timing right, I've been able to do it nearly flawlessly. It also depends on, like, how close the enemies are to each other, because there's, like, a little box. Sometimes it'll hit two of them, and there's, like, one there, but because he's, like, an inch off, you can't do it with all of them at once. And then there was also the point made that in boss fights, it'll tell you to wiggle your Wii Remote at the right time. I also saw the footage, and sometimes it would seem that he was kind of swinging it before it showed the Wii Remote on top. I'm very reactive with these type of things, and in this case, you have to wait until the Wii Remote is right there. Like King Arthur, you'll see a sword glow, but it doesn't mean swing. You think that, you know, there's going to be cues there, but the only cue is wait till that thing says wiggle the Wii Remote. You wait any faster, wait any slower? No. And I will say, the bosses before the later ones are actually harder with that. Specifically the Knights of the Round Table, who are represented as Shadow, Blaze, and Knuckles, which honestly I feel like that's very interesting. I remembered thinking that this game was going to end with like every character that was representing a King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table character. I literally thought that they were just going to pull off, oh no, I actually am Amy Rose, I actually am Shadow the Hedgehog, I actually am Knuckles, I actually am Blaze. I thought they were just gonna pull, oh yeah, we gave you so much shit, this was actually like a big fucking troll. God, I was a stupid kid. But the ending that we actually got was much more emotional and much better than what I thought it was going to be, and I'm really, really happy for that. Now, to get into the story's sake, I will say that, you know, you notice a lot of things after nearly, actually no, not even nearly, it's been exactly 11 years. I mean, it's been like, let's see here, 5 years I've been making a British accent, and I'm just now realizing that Merlina is British.
Being from a distant world, forgive my abrupt summons.
How the fuck did I miss that? You got this godly voice acting coming from the 4Kids cast, which you might say they did amazing just because it was their final time, but my god, I've never heard, and look, I mean no offense to the newer voice actors, but I have never heard such amazing voice acting and so much emotion come out of these characters as I did with this game.
I have found you, apprentice knight, enemy of my king.
I'm the one who gave it to him, so it's kind of my fault, see?
You have defied King Arthur. This place shall be your grave.
I am Percival, Knight of the Round Table, servant of King Arthur. State your name and your master, sir.
I'm Sonic, Sonic the Hedgehog. I have no master, except the wind that blows free.
Very well, Sonic, Knight of the Wind. Prepare for battle.
Bring it on!
Mike Pollock is the only one they kept, and I feel like, yes, Mike Pollock is the only guy who can voice Eggman, but my god, I feel like it was a sin that they didn't keep some others around. I didn't notice much difference when Knuckles got replaced, because, you know, the 4Kids cast and the new one, they kind of sound the same. I kind of like the new Knuckles. But when it came to Amy Rose's voice, I can't stand it anymore. You don't see Blaze very often. I don't like the new Rouge voice. Like, I don't know. I like the 4Kids cast Rouge. When they made her this higher pitch, it just felt very, very weird. And I mean, I'm not saying that Rouge makes an appearance. I'm just saying that I feel like more 4Kids cast should have stuck around. If you were going to replace Jason Griffith for Sonic, I understand that, even though I like Roger Craig Smith, but still, then you should have at least kept him around for Shadow. Like, yes, Roger Craig Smith does a decent job with Shadow, but when it comes to Shadow and Sonic, I feel like nobody pulls it off better than Jason Griffith. Some people might say, oh, he was too serious, he was too goofy, which I don't know, Ryan Drummond kind of screamed his lines out way too much, and Roger Craig Smith, I don't know. He just doesn't have the same feel with me as the 4Kids cast did. Other than that, I don't want to go too in-depth with it, because I know it's going to be too much spoilers, and we'll get into that later on. But now, I feel like we should discuss, like, the certain levels, the boss fights, other things, like, you know, every single world has a different aesthetic. And a lot of times, like, it's graphically amazing, they have all these different sorts of things. One moment you're fighting in, like, a village. Another moment you're in the Misty Lake, and there's, like, grass all over the place, these boars that are attacking you, kind of like you're in a farm, or at a lake. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have even said farm, and animals that would be at said lake, you know, they see a trespasser and they start attacking. You got some targets around, which you're doing the tutorials in. One moment you're literally at freaking castles freeing villagers. Another moment you're inside a mountain thinking you're gonna face a dragon. Then you're literally somewhere to face a freaking dragon. You have places that look like a lot of fields with landmines, even though said landmines are giant spiky balls. Another moment you're going into freaking apocalypse. Another moment you're in freaking lava related mines, which I'm not a big fan of those. You got, like, these creepy woods, which later turns into some snowy woods, which has a good aesthetic. Like, everything does something new, whether it's mechanically or graphically. And the soundtrack that plays in each and every one of these, holy shit! The main theme, Night of the Wind, that always holds a place in my heart. One of my favorite songs is Great Megalith. I don't know why, but that's just a song that always comes to mind. Then there's With Me in the final boss. I will say that other songs like, let's see here, Through the Fire, that was a song that I really liked as a kid. Nowadays, I'm like, okay, that song's alright. I know a lot of people really like that song, but for me, like, okay. When it comes to enemy design, I mean, I'm not really gonna say that the enemies are much to call home about. I mean, I know that sounds bad, but I mean, you got a bunch of knights, but, you know, that's pretty much it. You got this giant guy, which kind of looks like the smaller knights, but he's giant and has an axe. I don't know, I feel like the enemies look kind of basic, and a lot of the fans of the game are gonna call me out, say I'm not a fan, because I think that, but at the same time, you know, I feel like I need to at least say that. The boss designs, I really like seeing Shadow, Knuckles, and Blaze in this whole medieval aspect, as much as I love seeing Sonic wearing the glove and holding a sword. Just seeing them in all this knight's armor, it kind of makes them look cooler. King Arthur, though the regular knights are nothing to call home about, I feel like King Arthur looks really cool. I mean, the art style doesn't just stop at the gameplay. It's literally in the cutscenes too. They have like this completely different animated art style, even though like it's a bunch of still frames. At moments, I just feel like I'm sucked into the story, like I'm actually watching a really cool medieval movie that I can get invested in. And there are other times where I see portraits and I feel like I'm playing a frickin' Tales of Symphonia or Tales of Vesperia game. Like, you see them talking, you see other things going on, and it's just like, it feels so much like I'm in an RPG that I could be playing a lot. And I like that about it. I really, really like that about it. In case you didn't know, later in the game, you can actually unlock Knuckles, Blaze, and Shadow to play as in the main line. Of course, they're given the names Lancelot, Gawain, Percival, but I'm just going to refer to them as Shadow, Blaze, and Knuckles. And when it comes down to it, you know, when you're playing as Knuckles in specific going up walls, there are times where the swinging feels a lot more sensitive with him, and I get that because his swinging is like rapid fucking fire when dealing with a lot of enemies, and I really like that about Knuckles. But it also becomes a problem when climbing up walls. With Sonic, it's happened once or twice where a slash randomly happens, but it's easier to control. With Knuckles, it's like, he swings, and he swings, and he swings, even when I'm not really swinging the Wii Remote. And as for the extra characters, how do they hold up besides Sonic? Well, they have different soul surges, like Shadow using Chaos Control, Knuckles using this whole thing where he's throwing his blades at a bunch of enemies, which I feel like really fits Knuckles, and then there's Blaze, who either turns into a tornado of fire, or has a ring of fire above her if you do it in the air. Now, what do I think of them individually, other than the Soul Surge? Well, I remembered there being another complaint from my favorite reviewer, Some Call Me Johnny, again, do not harass him, where he said he didn't like the fact that Shadow's jump slash was a little more delayed. Well, what I have to say to that, even though you could say it kills momentum, if you can get the combo move done just right, he just absolutely rips through enemies, and then the delayed flip is more so for dramatic flair, and I just really freaking like that about Shadow. Now, of course, even though I don't like the Shadow game, Shadow is one of my favorite characters in Sonic. There's Knuckles, who at first I didn't really think much of, besides, oh yeah, he should be played in the Great Megalith stage. And it's like, I discovered that his gliding was a thing. I used to just try to use him for homing attacks, which I don't really know how I did that as a kid. But when it came down to it, when I wanted to abuse his gliding, I abused his gliding. He turned one of the hardest levels into one of the easiest freaking things when I'm fighting in the Cauldron. I really fucking hated that level. And now I learned to enjoy it just because I used Knuckles. Great Megalith, which is one of my favorite levels, got ruined because I decided to play as Blaze. So what don't I like about Blaze? Well, I mean, she seems like a more advanced character to me, and I'm not sure if that's intentional or not. All of her slashes are more delayed, and it's just really freaking clunky. Her jump slash isn't really anything to call home about. It's more so a nerfed version of the glide from Knuckles. Her Soul Surge, you think you could keep it up if you're running through enemies, and I mean, I used a mostly ground level this time, because her double jump plus the homing attack, it doesn't work, especially in the level that she's meant for. And it's just, she can't really keep her Soul Surge up very long. The Ring of Fire doesn't do shit. Her slashes aren't really good. I wanted to enjoy Blaze. I really wanted to enjoy Blaze, because besides Shadow, I really liked her in Sonic Rush. She was okay in Sonic 06, regardless of the fact that I absolutely despise that game. But in this, I feel like it was done wrong. This is something where I can kind of agree with other reviewers. I'm not just copying what they say. I mean, I'm saying in specific what I do not like about Blaze. And in this case, I just didn't like it. Shadow had something good to add to the table. Knuckles had something good to add to the table. I mean, I'd prefer to play as Sonic. I'd prefer to play as Knuckles. I'd prefer to play as Shadow. I mean, when it comes down to it, I feel like Shadow and Sonic are on leveled playing field. I feel like Knuckles is freaking OP, even though he's not as fast as the others. And then Blaze is just... she's just Blaze. That's all I could say. She's a playable character. She's Blaze. And they fucked her up drastically. Now to get into the spoiler section. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! You know, you keep coming to these reviews, and I keep getting here, and you keep fucking around. Every time he says he's about to spoil the game, you better be aware that he is going to spoil the fucking game. What the fuck is wrong with you? You always show up here, I always got to explain the same fucking things to you over and over and over again, and it's always the same bullshit. So, after slaying King Arthur with the Sacred Swords, which, yes, you needed them, it wasn't just let's give Sonic a sword even though he can hold off his own. King Arthur is immortal. You need these Sacred Swords to defeat him because it somehow wears off his immortality. So after slaying said King Arthur, you get some fake credits, you think that's the ending, but then afterwards you learn that's not it. He vanishes like a regular knight of the underworld. You find out that he was an illusion made by the grandfather, which I guess is the original wizard who put Excalibur in the stone in the King Arthur story, and we end up finding out the real goals from the wizard Merlina. She wanted to get King Arthur's scabbard because with that, she could end up creating a world of her own. One that would not fuck up, one that would last forever, one that would not end in ruin, people won't die. And Sonic, not realizing that at first, he decides, well, this is gonna destroy this world anyway, so we gotta do something. So first, you know, we go through a bunch of time levels, which I kind of explained, you know, Knuckles, Blaze, Shadow, Sonic. You know, I pretty much already explained how that goes. You eventually go to a dragon's lair, so you go through that level, you fight a dragon, which, yeah, it's pretty cool. You see all of the knights put these swords into stones, kind of like how King Arthur would pull a sword out of a stone himself in the original story, and it would show messages implying what's going to happen next. So after all that, Sonic eventually confronts Merlina, learns her plans, says, no, you gotta live life to the fullest, we can't be doing this. And, you know, he ends up getting an ass whooping, and he loses his sword, and again, this voice acting!
No!
And eventually we end up learning that Caliburn is Excalibur, which gives Sonic this cool new form with the sword, which I really freaking like it. I remembered when I was younger, I didn't quite like where the cape was. I remembered I have an Excalibur Sonic figure, but my cousin and I were stupid enough to rip his arm off. What And you fight the boss, which, I mean, it's easy for me now because I've played it so many times. It's just swing the Wii Remote at the right time, get some right soul surges in, and you can get this right. And then you get a shit ranking, even though you do a lot more than the game asks you to do. Fuck Sonic! Then, after defeating the boss, you know, we get, like, this life lesson and an ending that's, like, it still pulls at the heartstrings to this day. We get to hear a nice song by Crush 40 called Live Life. And it was a perfect ending and a perfect send-off for all the 4Kids voice actors that should have been kept around in the first damn place. So, what do I think of Sonic and the Black Knight? Do I think it's bad? Do I think it's good? Well, I think the review should speak for itself. It's a really good game. It's my favorite Sonic game of all time, and I mean, yes, it's had its clunkiness here and there. Sometimes I have problems just regaining my momentum, and I mean, that's more so something that happens at the beginning of the game. I found out that at the beginning, a lot of it was more so I used a bad nunchuck, so I just swapped out my nunchuck and it did fine. I also used a third-party Wii Remote, which could have also had to do with Gawain's random slashing at times. And then there were just instances where I randomly pulled off this one random glitch. And then there was stuff in, like, Molten Mine, where it would ask you to jump when really you just need to homing attack onto these rails. But I mean, that's just a few small things. Each game has its flaws. So, overall, I feel like it undeservedly gets shat on for no freaking reason at all. I mean, this thing got a lower Metacritic score than Secret Rings, but I mean, it's not that unfair, come on. And I mean, it's also had little moments that just really made me chuckle a bit, not just at some stuff in the story, which there's nothing really to laugh at in the story, but like, things that happen in-game, like, I just now realized this, other than Merlina being British, but
Who was it who kept treating me like a rat again?
oh my god, he referred to a Razor Kratos! And I just think that, you know, there's a lot of amazing aspects of this game. I feel like a lot more people need to give it a try, give it more of a chance, instead of just comparing it to Zelda Skyward Sword, because I mean, this is more fast-paced and more of a hack and slash than fucking Zelda Skyward Sword. And I'd argue to say that this might even be the best game on the Wii. Then again, we also have Mario Kart. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for sticking around. I just recently reached 400, and I'm hoping to God that after I release this, people do not unsub, because this happens a lot. And I know that you guys have also been wanting your Clash of Ninja review, but I mean, a lot of that had to do with just, I want to do it, I think of doing it, I record the footage, then I forget what I was going to say, then I find out that there was more games, I thought Evolution Revolution 3 was the direct sequel to Clash of Ninja 2, then I find out there's 2 more games, and then there's 5 games. And I guess I'm just trying to say, thank you. Thank you very much.
What once seemed impossible